Hey everyone, welcome back. So today was a much better day than we expected, at least. And I think what we've learned from this one is we need to follow what Trump says more closely going forward. Right? Trump today posted that he is, well, first he posted, this looks like a great time to buy, right? That was in the morning. Then about an hour or so later, he posted that they are basically rescinding, well, not total rescinding, but rescinding the tariffs for like 75 plus countries, getting it down to 10%. But they're still going after China with 125% tariffs, right? The market at that point, off to the moon. It was a great day. Things were up 20%. Markets were up 11, 12, 14%, whatever it was. We'll take a look at what's going on there. It was obviously a good day for us. We'll take it anytime we can get that. But we need a lot more days like this. So we got that to look at. So we'll also look at BitDeer, provided an update for March production. We got a Riot update about Bitfarms. And then we have an update from Mara as well. Some charts from Mr. Siegel on X, and what else do we have here? A couple other things to look at. We'll look at it all, but you guys know the drill here, right? Not financial advice for today only. Please do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's get into the charts here. Today was a day for the record books. Well, not really for the record books, but it was definitely one of those good days. Everything bounced here in the morning after Trump's tweets, right? Good time to buy. Tariffs are up, being put on pause for 90 days. While they negotiate with all the countries here, so that was good. This is what we needed. We needed some kind of negotiations to take place. You couldn't just let this stuff be the way it was, right? So we kind of got what we wanted, more or less. Whether you agree with the way that he did it or not, regardless, right? They're working through it. Now we got 90 days to get that all worked out, and we'll see how things progress. But the markets were up today. The Dow Jones was up 7.8%. The NASDAQ was up also 12% today. S&P was up nicely, 9.51%. The Russell 2000 was up, and my gosh, my internet is lagging here for some reason, or at least TradingView is having an issue. Probably a lot of people watching it right now. But the Russell 2000 was up 8.5%. Bitcoin, let's see if this thing loads. I may have to refresh this. Bear with me. Let's see if we can refresh it. Let's go back to BTC. There we go. Now it's better. Bitcoin was up nicely today. It was up approximately 8.32%. It was up a little higher towards the middle of the day, and then it came back down a little bit, but still really good. Nice bounce from where we were. We still need to be much higher than this right now. If you look at the descending line here, more or less, we need to break above that, and still a little bit off from that. So we need to get above probably like 85, 88,000 here in order for a nice continuation here. Some are saying that we could possibly be going back up to 100,000 here later on this year. I think we might be going even higher, depending, as long as the tariff thing gets all worked out with all the countries. China is obviously the exception there. We need to kind of kick their butt a little bit here. But yeah, so Bitcoin did great. Miners did great today as well. Altcoins did great today. It was just a great day for us based on the news that came out here. And then miners, Bitfarms was up 23% today. It was the second best performer here that I track out of all the companies that we track here, including MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy was up a little bit better, 24% today. Had a nice bounce. I mean, geez. BitDeer was up 20% today. Cypher was up 16.5. Cleanspark was up 13.2. CORZ was up 15. Hive was up 16. HUT 13 plus. IREN 11 plus. Mara up 17 plus. Riot up 12 plus. And Wolf up 14 plus. So really great day. We talked about this a little bit yesterday also, that, you know, it's obviously was painful in the markets yesterday, more so than it was obviously today. But we talked about this yesterday, right? People need to realize that these are buying opportunities. Kind of like we talked about, you go into a store and seeing a 40% discount on something, you're going to buy it. Whereas when you see discounts on stocks being down 40%, people panic and try to sell instead of buying more of it. So hopefully you guys were able to buy today. I did not get to buy. You guys know the reasons why. Taxes and things I got to pay up coming up here. So I'm in cash right now as it is. But man, I would have loved to have bought today. The other thing is, like I said, is we got to follow Trump. What Trump says right now is playing out to the, well, not always to the good side. But when he does tweet, X, post, whatever it is, something positive about buying something like that, maybe we need to follow that and listen to it and see how it plays out long run. But yeah, today was definitely a great day here. On it, you can see some of the smaller miners were up nicely as well. DMG was up 21%, did the best of the small miners at least. And then the ETFs did really good today as well, being up 14%, 16 and 13%. So it was a good day. We needed this. Nice little bounce here. Looking at Bitcoin right now in the month of April, we're up, or actually down 0.6%. So we're not too far away from at least breaking even on April. We still have quite a ways to go. We got about 20 more days or so in April, and maybe we can actually finish out April in the green here. We'll see. All right, stock markets are looking pretty good here. Futures are down not too bad right now. The Asians were up as well today nicely. A lot of them were doing pretty good here. The ASX was up 4.61. The Nikkei was up 8.32, so that was looking good. Bonds are looking better here as well compared to where they were yesterday. So that's looking really, really good for us. And then we have a story here that Bitcoin 100 target back on table after Trump tariff pause supercharged market sentiment. Bitcoin bulls could set their longer-term price targets at 100,000 if politicians and U.S. equities market play nice, which I agree. Right, we need to have a lot of the uncertainty here capped, gotten over with, done with, finished up, and then we can rally even further at that point. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here for this year. I think we can actually get higher than that if we get the tariffs all worked out. Some interesting charts here from Matthew Siegel here, recovering CFA. If you guys don't follow him on X, you guys definitely should. This is from the Van Eck quarterly update here. This is on Bitcoin here. Bitcoin outperforms over all time periods. If you look at the performance as of April 7th, on the 1 week, the 1 month, the year to date, to the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, and a 10 year, you can see that Bitcoin has outperformed here historically compared to other equities. Okay, so remember that. If you can, buy Bitcoin, hold that thing until you absolutely need it. Next chart here is Bitcoin and gold shine as top performers. 1 year return on various asset classes as of April, right? Gold up the most here, 31%, gold stocks 25%, Bitcoin up 13%, US tips, 6.9 bonds, 5.7 international REITs coming out of US stocks actually are down, emerging markets are down, and international stocks are down as well. So we got Bitcoin still on top of that. That's looking good there. Bitcoin volatility has also shifted down, which is kind of what we're seeing here, at least over the last year, ever since the ETFs came into play. But what have we seen? We've seen Bitcoin actually get into these longer ranges of corrections and sideways trading than we have seen in the past. So there does seem to be some validity to this as well that I'm seeing right now on it. So that might be a good thing for us. And then let's see here. This is peak growth, phase 2 of AI. This might be interesting here. So phase 2 of AI, benefits of AI flow to companies other than mega cap tech. NVIDIA begins to have competitors, increase in energy demand, right? Nuclear energy cost and availability of energy is a national priority. It used to be a national priority here in the United States. Natural gas bridge to nuclear, I would agree with that. Infrastructure and grid build out need to have that. And then copper related to natural gas. So I would agree with those things. We're seeing definitely some demand for HPCI come down. We saw Microsoft actually cancel a build out in Iowa for, I think it was a $1 billion investment there. That's been put on pause right now until some clarity happens in the markets, right? So we need a lot of clarity here for not only the HPCI players, the data centers, everything else. It just has to happen. Not only for them, but everybody else in the industry, in the economy, actually. We need clarity here. Clarity and certainty, which right now we have a little bit of clarity, not so much certainty here. We got a 90-day pause in the tariffs. We'll see how that gets worked out here in the next 90 days. All right, let's see if there's anything else that he had on here. India, so we're talking about India. We don't invest in India here, at least I don't. You guys might invest. I know some people that do, that have family over there that they can do it, which is good for them, really. I mean, India has been doing really well. All right, so that's it. All good things here happening for us. I like it. I hope you guys do too as well. How about let's get into the news stories that we do have here, which is going to be first one on BitDeer. BitDeer announces their March 2025 production and operations update. They completed mass production of CLA1s and 2.8 exahash energized here, so they did add some more hash rate on for the month here. Self-mined 114 Bitcoin here. SealMiner 8.2. This is kind of interesting here. Wafer capacity disclosures will be paused temporarily. The decision was the result of comprehensive consideration for maximizing the company's shareholders' value. These disclosures were previously provided to assist potential mining rig buyers in making informed decisions. However, due to the current market uncertainty and the significant slowdown in mining rig demand, disclosure of total capacity is not currently useful. The company's self-mining hash rate forecast increased slightly this month, and BitDeer remains confident that the previously predicted hash rate targets in the second half of 2025 are achievable, on schedule, and can potentially exceed the company's expectations. So that's good there, but yeah, I can see why they are hesitant to put those out, wafer capacity disclosures, because you just don't know what the demand is going to be. If if they're manufacturing their chips in China or manufacture their ASICs in China, and then those things are getting sent out to the United States or elsewhere, and you're getting a 125% tariff on those things. Probably companies are going to be a little hesitant to buy a lot of hash rate here right now until we get some certainty and we get some closure on that. So that makes sense there on it. And with them being their own producer, they can basically produce it, I think, and not have to worry about the tariffs because it's their product. They're not selling it to anybody else. I don't think that I don't think the tariffs would apply there, but I could be wrong on that. All right, so there's that update on that one. HPCI, BitTier has now formalized an engagement with Northland Capital Markets to act as a financial advisor for its HPCI data center development strategy. Northland will assist BitTier with existing negotiations with potential development partners and provide guidance regarding capital providers. Okay, so they're working with somebody there, a third party. What else do we have here? Self-mining is now 11.5, right? That's up from 9 exahash, so that's good. Bitcoin mine was only 114, so I'm guessing those machines got plugged in like the last couple of days here. And I may have to update my table that I have for them because I have them running at 20 days, I think. But with them only mining 114 out of 110 in February, that leads me to believe that they probably plugged those in either just now or like at the last day of March there. Bitcoin held increased to 1,156. And that is all we got for them. So let's take a look at their numbers here really quick. So BitTier shares outstanding about 165 million as it is right now, roughly. Market cap 1.4 billion, almost 1.5 as of today. Stock has done not great over the last 12 weeks. They're down 61%. It has definitely been beaten down here. Current hash rate 11.5. Future hash rate of 11 something. They're actually going to be higher than that. I just don't know exactly how much they're going to be getting for themselves. We'll get that updated when we find out more. Bitcoin HODL 1,156 is valued at 94 million roughly. HODL to market cap is 6.5%, and one share equals about 57 cents of HODL in it. Production here has been coming down for a while now, almost a year for them. And that is a result of not really much growth there, but they are going to have much more growth happening in the second half of the year here. So that should be, we should start seeing improvements in that, especially like for this month when they added another 2.5 exahash. And going forward as well. So we should see improvements there. Revenue did come down a little bit here to 9.7 from where it was. Their prior best was last year in March, almost 20 million here. They're half of that of where they were. Bitcoin HODL has been continuing to increase here over the last, I would say, 5 or 6 months. Hash rate difference, we talked about that. They're 11.5, added about 2.5 exahash right now. Bitcoin sold, based on my numbers, looks like they maybe even added 3, but that could have been from like the Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin hosting side of things where they added 3 Bitcoin to their treasury from that. BTC per exahash, pretty low, 9.9. But like I said, I think it's because of the numbers that I have below for them. We'll take a look at that down in a second. Institutions here, get into that really quick. Institutions did increase to 167 as of today. Shares also went up to 35 million here. Percentage owned is now 25.71. We still have 8 strong buy ratings, 4 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sells. Price target stayed the same for the high at 31. The low went down a little bit to 20, or the average went down to 22.05, and the low stayed the same at 15 on it. All right, going down here for the days mined here, and miners getting entered here. I added another 12,500 of these 200 terahash miners here, roughly, that I can figure, and I had those at 20 days. That brought down the other part of their operations down to 16.95, which I think this should probably be like 2, and I'll get this updated here for you guys later on after the show. So I'll get that updated, and then that'll improve their numbers here as well going forward. So that should improve their Bitcoin per exahash efficiency on that one. But that kind of gets us to the 9.698 million here in revenue. Based on that, times 12 months, we're looking at somewhere between 979 and 1469 with a P of 15. Right? Analysts have them much higher than that. Which could be the case depending where Bitcoin goes as well, and how well they are able to execute on their growth in HPCI, or that and their AC mining, right? If they can do all those things, then yeah, I could possibly see them going much higher. I mean, could see them getting to, well, even a 20p, that's 19, so definitely much higher. I think they're giving them more credit on the HPCI business and the growth going forward into second half of this year and into next year as well. But yeah, that is it on BitTier. I like the growth here that we're seeing right now. It's been long overdue. The miners that they're putting out are looking pretty good. We don't know what the sales figures are for those yet. We'll probably get some numbers when they do report the quarterly results for Q1 here. That'll be coming up probably in the next, I would say, 5 weeks or so, maybe 4 to 5 weeks. when they do report it. But other than that, they just got to execute. They do have a huge pipeline of stuff happening here for them. You can see all their sites here, the capacity, status, timing, right? This stuff is all completed here. 885 megawatts there. And they have a bunch of stuff here, pipeline capacity that they can work on and get to approximately 2.6, 2.7 exahash or 2.7 gigawatts of megawatts going forward. So that's in planning, pending approval, in progress. So they got a lot of stuff happening here. That's going to be happening like in April, mid-2025, Q3, Q4 2025, Q3 2025, 2026, somewhere around there, Q2, Q4 2026, Q4 2025. So a lot of stuff that's still in the works for them going forward. And I think that's maybe why they're getting a little bit of a premium because of all the growth that they have here happening right now. All right. So that's it on BitDeer. Let's take a look at Riot here really quick, and then we got Mara to catch up on. This is interesting here. Riot Platforms Inc. early warning report press release regarding waiver and irrevocable proxy. So I believe this has to do with them and Bitfarms here. Yeah, it does. Bitfarms, it says it right there. Bitfarms or the company. And on April 7th, Riot delivered a waiver and irrevocable proxy to the company, pursuant to which Riot irrevocably waived and relinquished its rights under sections under the settlement agreement that was done on September 23rd of last year. And in that, it basically says that, well, the board, they're no longer going to be requiring the board members to be, Riot, things like that. Riot irrevocably released the company from all of its obligations in connection with the foregoing waiver and relinquishes rights, right? So basically, they're under 10% right now of ownership there, which is good, but basically what it means is they've been selling shares of Bitfarms, and that's probably why Bitfarms has been coming down so hard here recently on it, and maybe got a nice pop out of it because of today. But they still own about 9.9% here. So pursuant to the waiver and I can't say that word, proxy, Riot granted to the company and any of its designees an irrevocable proxy to vote or act by written consent as determined by the company from time to time solely with respect to any subject securities, the voting power of which represents in excess of 9.9% of the total voting power of all securities of the company entitled to vote for the election of directors of the company from time to time outstanding. As a result of such proxy, Riot currently exercises voting power over approximately 54.8 million shares, or approximately 9.9% of the outstanding common shares in Bitfarms, basically here. So they have been selling. And I got a question as far as, somewhere I got a question, I think it was on the YouTube comments. Why would they be selling now at a loss, right? I think it's the activist investors that have gone into Riot. I think they might be just pushing them to go, take a loss on it, move on, get over it, and move forward, I think. That's the only thing I can think of why you would do that. They may need the cash as well. They're seeing the things that are happening here in the markets, and they're like, okay, we need some cash, so they're going to take a hit on it. They're going to probably take a 30-40% hit, if not higher, depending when they sold, right? But so they could have been selling at higher levels, but they just had to now report now because they're under 10%, basically, I think. That's the reason why. Okay, so that's it on Riot and Bitfarms here. So I think it's good for Bitfarms getting Riot off their back here. So I think we can probably forget about Riot buying out Bitfarms in the near future or anytime soon here. Next, here's just a quick update from Mara here. This was posted today here. So Mara energizes full 25 megawatt micro data center initiative powered by associated natural gas. They've put this out a while back. I think it was last year that they were doing this, but not a lot of details were in there. We still don't have a lot of details in here as far as costs and things like that, but here's what we do have. Mara and Engon have fully energized 25 megawatts of data center initiatives, converting previously flared natural gas into low-cost electricity. In its first 5 months of operation, the project reduced 29,300 metric tons of CO2 equivalent emissions, comparable to removing 6,800 gasoline-powered vehicles from the road per year. Given it is one of the lowest costs of Mara in power in Mara's portfolio, it strengthens operational resilience ahead of Bitcoin halvings and expands the company's gas to power capabilities. Right, so they're doing that. They're doing also the wind power farms. They're doing a lot of this kind of interesting stuff here. Mara previously announced a partnership with Engon, right? We talked about that. Let's see. These micro data centers are powered by associated natural gas. They're flaring. So if you guys know what flaring is, I'm not going to get into it here. Let's see here. This model provides dual benefits. For Mara, it delivers low-cost, self-owned power that reduces operating expenses and dependence excuse me, on third-party energy providers. For our energy partners, it helps reduce emissions, meet regulatory compliance requirements in flare-restrictive environments, and monetize a resource that would otherwise go to waste, which is great. Right, we're seeing some of these guys get into this. We're seeing some of the smaller miners do this as well, try and get into it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think Quantum Expedition is doing that as well. I think they're getting into that, but I could be wrong on that. They're looking into it at least, maybe. And then delivering low-cost energy for Mara's portfolio. Mara's stranded gas brings, I talked about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Long-term competitiveness and growth. Here's where the sites are at. North Dakota, Texas, and let's see. Mara now owns 139 megawatts of electric generation capacity. So that's wind generation and gas to power. So this is an interesting setup here, right? You got the oil well, you got the gas testing and routing system that goes either into the generator set or into the backup flare in case you can't use up all the gas that's being generated there. And then you go into containerized Bitcoin mining data center, which is basically a 48, 53-foot container filled with ASIC miners in there. The interesting part that I would like to know is what does it cost, one, to get one of these generators set up, right? Because they're not free. So it does cost you something to get that. It's an expenditure. I'd like to know what the cost is on that. What is the upkeep on the maintenance on it as well? Because if it's natural gas, I'm sure you're going to have to do oil changes, things like that. What does that cost? Monthly, yearly, whatever it is. I'd like to see some costs on it, just to see what more or less what the actual expenditure is or the capex cost is to put something like this. And then what is the ROI time frame? Are you looking at 2 or 3 years to get break even on it? Are you looking for a year to break even on it? What is the ROI on it? I'd like to see that kind of data. And I'm not sure we're going to get that from Mara. Mara's been kind of tight-lipped about some of the stuff that they're doing here as far as what are the costs. And maybe rightfully so, right? They don't want to give their competitors an idea of what that costs, whether they're high or low. So I can kind of understand, but I'd still like to know that. All right, that is it. That's all I got for you guys. Pretty simple, easy. We're going on 36 minutes now. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's not much else. So we covered a lot of stuff here today. Today was a great day. Hopefully you guys were able to buy into it. Let's get into the Q&A and see what you guys have to say on any of this stuff and anything else. As always, I'm going to work my way up on the questions, comments, and everything else. If you could preface those with a question mark or Q, I would appreciate it. And we'll work our way down. Okay, I saw a question before I went live here. Okay, Mortim had a question. Can you think of a reason IREN is lagging? The only reason I can think of why it's lagging, I mean, it was, where was it up? It was up today, 11%. So it's not that bad, but it did definitely lag. I think, I mean, you can see it here. It was one on the lower side of things compared to the other miners. And the reason why it's lagging, I'm not sure why it's lagging. I think it might be just a concern maybe with the data centers, right, that they're trying to progress there with, and seeing that some companies like Microsoft are pulling back on contracts. Maybe there's some fear in that, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of right now, because Cypher did really good today. It was up 17%, right? Cypher's trying to get HPCI data centers as well. There's some customers for that. Who else? Hut 8, I mean, Hut 8 was only up 13%, kind of like Cleanspark. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say what the actual reason is for it. It could be any number of things. All right. Let's see. Someone asks, Seb, you green now? Yeah, I'm in the green. I'm up 3% right now overall in my portfolio. Let's see. And what else do we have here? Sorry, I'm trying to find questions and comments. Let me see here. I wish the miners would let me get back what I lost so I can cash out and never think about them again. The miners, I don't blame you, right? The miners are definitely very, very volatile. And yeah, it's tough to stomach the swings, especially with the miners. So I completely understand if you don't want to get back into them, you just want to recoup your money and be done with it. Let's see. All right. Pitt says only 236,000 to recover now. Tough times doesn't last, man. Do. Let's go. Cleanspark 32. Nice. Let's see. Sarman says I was worried about you yesterday. Said, yeah, I was getting a little frustrated with everything that was going on there, but today was a better day, right? So, all right. Let's see. Capri says Bitfarms RSI is at all-time low. It is stupid not to buy some. Yeah, it might be, right? Dollar cost average in a little bit. Trump is 3 steps ahead. Yeah, we got to follow what he says. I mean, it's basically, I think he's giving us like the playbook, right? Right now should be a good time to buy. Right now looks like a really great time to buy. Had you listened to him and bought, you would have done really well. I saw a bunch of stuff also on the shorts getting wrecked today, right? It's tough. The shorts are having a hard time, I think, with Trump because it's just so volatile and it's crazy. But yeah. All right. Let's see. What do you think about Bitfarms being below the $1 minimum mark for being listed on the NASDAQ stock market? Well, they got plenty of time, right? They have about 180 days to get into compliance with that. They've been under that for what now? Maybe 10 days? Maybe 8, 10 days, something like that? Or whatever it's been, 10, whatever, something like that. So they have plenty of time to get above that. Bitcoin starts going back up, they'll follow suit as well. They should be above that. And then that kind of resets their requirements again. So I'm not worried about that. Sadie, thank you so much for the thumbs up and the smile there. Let's see. BM says, breaking news, flip-flopper Trump just changed his mind and canceled the 90-day tariff pause. Pure genius. Okay. I haven't seen that. Don't go by that. I think there might be some bad post there. Give some thumbs up for the great job Seb do for all of us. At least 70 likes. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss something from Andrea here? Andrea, I might have missed something, but your doctor prescribed something to you, 1 to 2 milligrams, really low dose. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I'm sure it's referencing to what I was talking about yesterday, about my illness and trying to get that under control. And you guys can definitely see it in my face today. My face is red, blotchy, and pimply and all over the place. It's just breaking out like crazy. Don't enjoy those days, but I'm trying to get it under control here. All right. Heinz's got a question here. Do you see BTC price to plateau and move like gold in terms of price action once it becomes more part of the asset system? Effective Bitcoin miners become more like the utility companies. Yeah, I do see that happening in time. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but I think in time, given 5, 10, 15 years, we could possibly see Bitcoin be a little bit more, it should be more stable, right? It should be not as fluctuating up and down all over the place. It should be more stable. But I think it's going to take a while still, 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it might be. And then at that point, we might be just going up slowly, to the upside a little bit, or trading sideways, but depending on the valuation, right? It gets to $1 million, it's going to be tough to get that thing moving a lot. So, yeah, I do see that happening. Okay, Andre says dead cat bounce. I don't think it's a dead cat bounce. I think there's a lot of hope and optimism right now with putting a pause on the tariffs for at least the time being, and then letting things work out here. All right. Seb, do you think the shorts will decrease now for Cleanspark? Oh, geez, I don't know. I was looking for that data today to see if that got updated. It hasn't been updated yet, so it might be a couple more days before we have that data, but I'd like to see that come down here. I think after today, I think some of the shorts are going to take a little bit of a reflection in the mirror, see what the heck they're doing there, and maybe go about things a little bit differently, but we'll see. All right. Let's see. Robert says, bond 30 years jumped to 5% today. That is why they changed course of the event. I've heard that as well. That could be it. I don't know, right? I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that office there and see what the heck they're actually talking about. But we don't have that information, so, but I've heard that as well. Could be the case, right? They saw it happening and they decided to, okay, let's put a pause on it. But it could be also, if they do, in fact, have 75 countries plus maybe looking to negotiate better terms with the United States, well, then that could be also part of it, right? It's going to take a long time to negotiate with 75 countries. You can't do that in 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever. It's going to take some days. So 90 days is good. If you can negotiate with everybody at least once a day, then you might be able to pull it off. Zara says, Jason sold the bottom, LOL. Well, depending when he sold. We don't know when he sold. They could have been selling for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, right? So once they got done down under 10%, they had to report, I believe. Okay. You guys are all poking on Jason there. But again, I think he might have been forced into it by the activist investor there. Robert says MSTU plus 40% today and a special mention to Hood. So I made a lot today. Nice. Very nice. Well, congratulations there. See, Par says bought at 270 and sells at 65. Again, like I said, I don't think they sold it at 65. I think they've been selling for quite a while there. All right. Let's see. Baro says it's not great for Bitfarms that at any point Riot can dump their 9.9%, keep that mine. Yeah, but it's lower now. It's not at the, they were at like what, 15, 16% or something like that at one point, almost 20%, I think. So they did get that down, but yes, they'll probably be dumping some more of it as time goes on here. I'm guessing they're probably going to be dumping into strength. If we see Bitcoin going up, that's probably when the time they're going to be selling at that point. But love to see them get out of it completely. Let's see, Jan says, question, no, Riot did not sell its Bitfarms. The press release was confusing and misleading, but if you read the filing, you'll see that they did not sell. Well, okay, let's take a look at it here. Did we read that wrong? Let's go back here. Okay, so where was it here? As a result of such proxy, Riot currently exercises voting power over approximately 54,000 or approximately 9% of outstanding common shares. Right, so if they had more shares, why would they be only at 9.9% on it? Let's see if we can find the actual filing. So that's going to be on SEC website. Let's take a look at, well, it might be on SEDAR website. I hate using that site from Canada. Let's see if there's one on here. Let's look at Bitfarms. Oh, Bitfarms. Let's see if it's updated here. The schedule filed report acquisition of beneficial ownership, more than 5% of class. That might be it here. Let's see, right platforms. Sole disposition power, 90. Sole voting power, okay, 50. The great amount beneficial owned by each reporting person. Percent of class represented by amount. Okay, 16%. So what does this actually say here? Oh, so it doesn't look like they sold then. You're right. Well, that is misleading then on that. They should have probably prefaced that a little bit better. The amount beneficial owned by each person is 90 million. Sole voting power. Sole dispositive power. What is this for? All right, let's look into more into that. But yeah, you're right. That does look like they didn't sell. Previously included, amendments. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in here. There isn't. All right, we'll look more into it. But thank you for pointing that out. Percent of class represented by amount in row 11, 16.3%. Sole voting Nevada. Okay. Source of funds, WC. What is WC? I have to look that up. All right. Well, you're right. Okay. I was mistaken. Based on what I was reading, it seemed like they sold off. All right. With Riot off their backs, where are the chances of another U.S.-based miner acquiring them? Well, it doesn't look like Riot's off of their backs right now based on that. That's interesting. Okay. Will Bitmain miners be at 10% or 125% tariffs for the next 90 days? Let's report a number of miners rented planes to fly miners in before Trump lowered tariffs today. Any guesses who that might be? I don't know. Geez. I'm guessing ones that have a lot more to install. So maybe BitDeer. Who else could there be? Cleanspark still has some, maybe they flew some stuff in. IREN as well, maybe. Mara is getting machines from Auradine. So I don't know where those are being manufactured or how those are being sold. But there might be a couple of them that are getting that. Hut 8 as well, maybe. So there might be a few that are in that. All right. Question, did you listen to Matthew from Cleanspark join Jones Healthcare? And I did not. I saw the link for it, but I did not listen to it. Was it any good? Was it worth listening? All right. Barra says, the only person I tell Riot is my mother-in-law. To buy Riot is my mother-in-law. Okay. I'm guessing you don't like your mother-in-law. What do you think about Bitfarms being below the $1 minimum market being listed? Yeah, I talked about that. They're going to be fine. They got 180 days to get above that. Do you think the U.S. miners could cancel miner orders even a 10% tariff is large when only one of the 30 miners is profitable currently? We could see that unless they're already on the ship going in here, might be a little tough. But yeah, it's definitely going to raise things for them. There is an exception, I think, on the semiconductors. I don't know if that qualifies as a semiconductor for ASIC miner. We'll have to wait and find out. I don't know, unfortunately. LB says BitGear will be the winner this year with growth and everything else. They might do very, very well. Yeah. All right. Could tariffs on the new mining rigs cause BTC mining to shift outside the USA? Well, China's the one that's got the biggest tariffs on it right now, at least 125%. If the machines are manufactured in Taiwan, Malaysia, where else, whatever they might be, those might be at 10%, right? So that's not that bad. I mean, so even before when you were getting stuff in from a Bitmain or anything like that, at least when I was purchasing back in 2017, you would pay the tariff on those as well. It was like 10%, I think it was 5%, 10%, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly. So you were paying at that point. Add 10% on top of that. You're paying, what, like $300 more per the rig. You can probably make that up in a couple months. Probably not a big deal, right? But if it's 100%, then you're paying like $3,000 more for a rig. Then you're looking at an extra year and a half or something like that to break even on. Then it doesn't make any sense. All right. Let's see. Did you have a chance to see Ben's interview? Thoughts? Yes, I watched it today. You know, he's a smart guy there. And he explained why they were moving from Paraguay into the United States, the thought process behind it, all that. I thought that was good. So, like I said, we need to give them a little bit more time, I think, to get the ship turned around and to the direction that they want to go. They got the deal there with McGuire as well for $50 million now. They have access to an additional $250 million as well. That should help there. McGuire has some good contacts as well in the industry for data centers and HPCI. So that should help. Let's just see how they do. Let's see, talked about that already. Joe says, I don't care about the volatility or swings. What's concerning is the slow decay since last summer where they've completely decoupled from Bitcoin swings. You're talking about the miners there, I'm guessing. Let's see. Bitfarms hasn't even got a letter yet from the SEC. They are out of compliance. 180 doesn't start until they get the letter. Okay, so yeah. They got plenty of time. Where do you think BTC value will be by this December? Can you see Hive and Bitfarms get to 5? Bitfarms, I mean, that would be basically 7x roughly from where they are right now. Bitcoin, I could see Bitcoin getting to like 150,000, somewhere around there. Maybe a little higher depending on how things go with the economy, the tariffs, everything gets worked out. You know, some certainty in the market would help. So I could see that happening at that point. But I think the high part would be 150,000 this year. But we could, yeah, I mean, anything's on the table right now. Okay. Para says, short term, literally next hour or so, will we get an update from China? Either they will match the U.S. tariffs or they'll announce they agreed to have a meeting with Trump, prepare for volatility. Yeah, I thought I saw something on X. Don't know if it's correct or if it's truthful or not, but it said basically that China is willing to negotiate something like on their terms. I guess, something like that. I don't know exactly what that means. All right. Let's see. Myron Deaton says, IREN's down 40% year to date. A lot of miners are down, 40, 50, 60% year to date. Let's see. BTC dumping, we're down 1%. It's not that bad. We're at 81,561. We're not doing too bad. All right. Para says, the rejected resistance. Need good news to keep the rally going. If not tonight, maybe CPI tomorrow. Yeah, oh, that's right. We got the CPI data tomorrow. We'll see what that comes in at. If that comes in pretty good, then that might be the pump that we need. It might be also people taking profits, right? I mean, we're up 8% today. You can see that happening as well. Para says, once we do break resistance 92, we'll come quickly. I would agree. Yeah. Let's see. Bitcoin's not falling like off the rack here. You guys need to come down a little bit. Let's see. Manu says, yeah, Riot has not sold yet. Looks like Riot owns 60% and after the SDIG dilution, they have made the agreement to reduce Riot's stake from 90 million shares at the end of 2024 to 54 million.8 shares. Okay. So that's what it's about. Okay. So I read that wrong. Well, I need to put that out, I mean, in like regular English, not like this legalese crap that you need a lawyer to figure out what the heck's going on in there. All right. Power Mining said, okay, that they haven't sold. Okay. So, yep, I read that wrong. Relax this time to be buying, the time to be buying Cleanspark and Bit Digital. that's up to you, right? If you have the cash to do it, definitely get into it. I think they're way down from where they should be right now. Everything is way down from where they should be. So, the longer that you are in the markets, possibly the better you're going to be in the long run. And it's usually when we have these kind of bottoms. I don't know if this is the bottom yet, but it looks like a bottom. And you want to be in those times because that's usually where you make a lot of your money. All right. What is the probability that we are having a V-shaped recovery? Well, it depends on what Trump says going forward, right? So we'll have to keep an eye on that, but we might have a V-shaped recovery here. Cleanspark, a deception today on that kind of sprint. I don't know why. Not sure what you mean by that. Okay. Steven says, Trump and Powell manipulating the markets. I've never seen so much corruption at the expense of retail. Yeah, but at least we have somebody on the inside potentially. If you actually listen and do what Trump says, kind of, which is kind of strange to say even, right? Today he posted, it's a great time to be buying. And within an hour or so, we got another text and markets went flying here. So feels like we have somebody on the inside, maybe, that is kind of letting us know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's subconsciously he's doing it or consciously. I don't know. Okay. BTC will be under 80,000. Miners lose all. Miner degen. Okay, well, we'll see. Let's see. Good morning. Loving this partial recovery. Hoping everyone makes the most out of it. Yep, same here. Par says I think we'll find support around 81.2. No, we're not too far off from that right now. We'll see. Robert says here, V-shape, only Bitcoin can tell. Need a big spark to push miners. They don't have popular favors since a long time. Yeah, they've been definitely been down, but still the institutions have been buying them, so it's kind of strange. All right, BTC will be under 80 again. All right, IREN's decision to pause miner expansion at 52 exahash is looking better with 90-day extension, allowing them to be done. 10% tariffs suck, but better than the 30-50% we thought it would be. Yeah, I agree there. Let's see. Big Bear is a good one. We talked about Big Bear yesterday. In yesterday's video, we talked about that one. They have a lot of contracts with the U.S. Government for defense things. Revenue has been growing. Net loss has been decreasing, which is good. So there's some good things happening in that company there. Question here. Trump said numerous times in 2024 that he wanted all Bitcoin mining in the U.S. Can you explain how tariffs will help with this goal? I don't know if that will. Right? What are you going to... I mean, how can you tariff Bitcoin? I don't think you can. So, I mean, how is that going to be... You can't do it all. I think it was just, he's playing up to the crowd. He wants all Bitcoin mined. He can't do it. I mean, there's countries that are going to be mining all over the place. So, yeah, I don't see that being a way to go. Giovanni says, you must be crazy to follow a crazy man U.S. president. Well, if it makes us rich, at least gives us a little bit of a leg up, maybe. I mean, follow to see what he says, follow to what he does, right? And then do what you think is right. Trump should be admitted to a mental institution. A lot of politicians probably should be. All right, but we're done with the questions here. I cut up to all you guys' stuff. Tomorrow, we will take a look at, let's see here. We got another comment here coming up really quick. We'll get to it. Seb, will you wear a funny wig if BTC hits on 20? I can do that. If it gets on 20, I'll wear that. I'll do that just to get it to 120 if that works. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll take a look at the miners for the month of March, grade them, give them a score, see which ones came in top. I already have the numbers for that. So if you guys are a Patreon member, you guys will probably see that in the post tomorrow when I give that to you guys. So you guys will have that actually. But we'll discuss that. We'll discuss anything else that happens in the markets, Bitcoin, AHBCI, miners, all that stuff, and we'll see where we end up at that point. All right, but that's it. Thank you so much for coming in as always. Love you guys. Have a great night. Today was a good day. We'll take it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.